Cut it with the business. West Coast rocking them Timberlands. Deep up in them trenches. It's no difference. 4th and inches. I'm finna hit a lick and handle business. I got her down. She real vicious. Rock-a-bye, baby. No witness. This is not even a conflict. You on nonsense. Got the same way in Brooklyn and Compton. But with that gang, then make a profit. On top. Stay poppin'. Look. See, I was the high school slick Rick, I was styling. Fat gold chain with an African medallion. Hip-hop connoisseur and rolling 20 gripping. Rap game real tight, free.
It's been a wet and dreary day by the shores of Lake Erie, but we have football at First Energy Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. Today, we've got a good Week 5 matchup in store here between the Seattle Seahawks and the Cleveland Browns. The first quarter of the season already in the rear-view mirror, and off we go in Week 5 on EA Sports. Taking it about the 1. And he won't get this to the 20-yard line as he's down at the 19. First and 10, and kind of tipping their hand at running the ball. 3 tight ends are out there. First play, Watson to the air. That's caught by the tight end, Harrison Bryant. And he'll get this up to the 34-yard line. 16 yards on the game's first play and a quick first down.
And that was good protection there. No, that was great protection there because it allowed him to lock in on his receiver. Although I think he was looking for his tight end on the corner route all the way. Nice connection there for a really nice gain.
From the 34 now, here's first and 10. From the gun, here's Watson. And this one almost intercepted. Not a good throw there. Nearly an opening drive, INT. The Browns at 3-1 here through their first 4 games. And they come in feeling pretty good after back-to-back victories, CD.
And I thought that they played pretty well last week. Their execution, their discipline, their resilience, all on display in that victory.
And that'll wind up moving the chains again as the tackle's going to be made at the Seahawks' 45-yard line. That one a gain of 20 and a first down. First carry for Nick Chubb. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. Yikes, a 4-yard loss really sets him back now for second down.
An interesting and intriguing decision there defensively because they kept extra DBs on the field despite seeing the multiple tight end look that came out for the offense.
I thought they were going to switch out of it. I didn't know if they felt they didn't have time or what the case was.
Well, in any event, the extra speed allowed for great penetration as they stuffed that one behind the line of scrimmage.
They'll have to deal with a 2nd and 14 now after the loss. A shotgun snap for Watson. And this is incomplete. Well, this defense for the Seahawks, they were terrific last week in the win over the Rams.
And while you can't actually see confidence rising in a unit, you feel like you can. And when you look at this team, you definitely think that it is because anytime you can tell your offense, just get us a couple of touchdowns, we got this thing locked down, that's when you know you're playing well.
And they're going to work this down to about the 32-yard line. We got to like what you're seeing from this offense here on the first drive. A nice sustained series to begin the game. It will continue after picking up another first there.
Would you say the word methodical comes to mind? I love the execution. I love what they're doing on this drive. They're controlling the ball.
And he'll take it into the end zone for a Browns touchdown. Nick Chubb, his 7th rushing touchdown of the year. And the Browns are on the board first here this afternoon. Looking sharp on that first drive. These guys, of course, coming off back-to-back victories, and you see that kind of advancing into this game, don't you?
You certainly do, and when you have a team that doesn't get too full of itself, even though they've won 2 games in a row, you get the end result that we saw there, that nice opening drive, because they're sharp, they're focused, and they're locked into everything that they're doing.
So with the missed PAT in his rearview mirror, he goes back out to kick this one off. And he'll just sit on this one as their drive will start at the 25. They'll run with Walker to begin the drive. And not much to speak of. Call it a 1-yard gain up to the 26. The last play got just a yard. Here's 2nd and 9 from the 26. Throwing is Smith. Going for Metcalf on the deep ball. And that will be incomplete. Tried to dial up the long one way out there, but it'll be 3rd down.
Nice job there, forcing that incompletion. This is going to be a fun battle throughout this game. Watching him try to take away that area of the field.
After an incomplete pass on 2nd down, that'll leave him trying to convert on 3rd and 9. Back to throw, Smith. Oh, that's into double coverage and intercepted. Picked off by Martin Emerson. And the Browns are going to take possession here at their own 47-yard line. The Browns drive about to get started. They start near midfield following the interception as they begin 1st and 10. They start on the ground with Nick Chubb. And he's got some space here. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. 53 yards rushing for him as he's got the afternoon off to a great start.
Well, they're making a real first-quarter statement with a run game, no doubt. For those who remember old-school football, running it, establishing things, seeing backs find holes, get through them, they've got to like what they're seeing from this unit so far. Right now, they've decided to, as you said, establish the run game, and they've been successful doing it.
And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2.
Next, the receivers have spread the defense out, and they were able to come through with a slashing run.
But to that point, it's going to be interesting to see the personnel chess match as this one progresses.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Can they continue to create running lanes out of passing sets? And if so, it's going to be a long day for the defense.
It's a nice pickup of 12 yards, and it gives them a 1st and goal. One thing's for sure, this defense has to figure out how to stop the ground game. He's eating them up here in the 1st quarter.
It looks like they have to go to different forces, aren't they? The conventional things aren't working too well. So I remember a coach of mine saying way back when a back's having a great game, you've got to get the ball out of his hands. See how far he can run without the ball. And what he meant was takeaways, knock it loose, because maybe you can't just stop him with just regular tackling.
Quick throw completed by Watson. 5 yards that time on the completion. And now it's 3rd and goal. That's probably as simple of a throw as he'll have all game.
And good for everyone. Good for his completion percentage. Good for the receptions for the receivers. But you know how they work on that. They have footballs with no laces. So as soon as you get the snap, you're just throwing the football. All right, you're not
touchdown! David Njoku, his 4th touchdown on the year. And they're able to add on to their advantage. Now the Browns offense will stay on the field as they'll go for 2 here. Looking to maybe throw for it here, Watson. That is caught. He's got it. And the lead will move to 14-0. The Browns kicking team out there now as they'll send this one away. And no effort to bring this one out. It's a touchback. Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense. And they're in an early hole. The first drive, they threw the interception. That led to a touchdown, so decent-sized deficit early on.
It is, but I think you hit the key words, early on. So they have to decide, do we even need to change game plan, or do we just need to execute better and try and get back in this game? As a defense, you're more balanced when you're in zone coverage because you're able to keep your eyes on the quarterback and see the play develop in front of you. They're able to keep the quick pass in front of them and stop it right at the line of scrimmage.
On second down, it's Walker. Call it a gain of 5 that time, and they'll be left with a third and about 4.
Not a ton of room available on that one, but he made use of what space was available and gained decent yardage.
It looks like a nickel set now for the Browns on third down. Now it's Smith. That's complete to DK Metcalf. And he is going to have a Seahawks first down as they're able to get the third down conversion.
Well, I think when they look at their offense, they think to themselves, weapons, weapons everywhere, and they want to move the ball around. They want to spread it to different people, but you absolutely know they want to get this man involved as well, and that's what they just did on that play.
They'll fake it. Now Smith. And that one's going to be off target and incomplete. Tyler Lockett was the target there. That'll bring him second down. Not sure what happened out there, but it looked like the timing was a little off on that throw.
Well, you know I'm a defender, so what am I going to say?
Great defense.
And darn right, they did something to disrupt that timing.
They'll toss this out right to Walker. And a good pickup there. He gets about 6 up to midfield.
He was hoping to get to the edge, but they did a really nice job of forcing him back inside. That's excellent fundamental defensive football. Don't let them outside where they can really shred your defense.
In search of 4 yards here to pick up the first down. From the 50, it's Smith. All right, rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked up by Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. And he takes this one back into the end zone, and the Browns defense has a touchdown. Charles, it is pretty rare that we see a team build this kind of lead in the opening quarter. And, man, they seem to be clicking on all 3 phases right there. The defense doing its part with a pick 6.
And it's absolutely been the definition of a start that you would pick for yourself and for your team, right? And I have a feeling that they just want to stay in this zone. What's truly incredible about this start is they can add on a couple more scores. This one could legitimately be over in the second quarter.
And they'll put up the stop sign there as his guys will get it at the 25. Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense. Well, CD, you kind of feel like they're in a bit of a danger zone right here because now you're down 3 scores, and I know we're in the first half, but the way this offense hasn't been able to generate anything, you feel like they probably need to get something going on this drive, right?
Yeah, and sometimes I overuse that this is an important possession, but I think this has to be the possession where they come up with an answer because only a few teams in league history have ever come back from a 4-score deficit. If they don't score here, that's what they could be facing the next time they get the ball.
2nd and 14 as they've got work to do here after the sack. From the gun, it's Walker. And he'll get this up over the 25 to the 26.
When you find that kind of yardage, you couldn't be more confident as a ball carrier. And guess what? You're going to go back and tell your offensive coordinator, I'd like to keep carrying it, thank you.
And this offense on third down today, just 1 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 9. Geno down to throw. And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. Picked off by Grant Delpit. And the Browns are going to take possession of the football. I'm not sure that the wheels, Charles, are coming completely off, but they're shaking a little bit. That's 3 interceptions, and now interceptions here on back-to-back drives.
Now think about what a Hall of Fame coach told me that he always told his teams. When a mistake happens, just move on to the next play. Let it go. Hard to do when you've thrown this many interceptions. That's exactly the attitude that has to be adopted.
2nd down, Gaskin. He's going to go out of bounds, but he takes this one down just shy good play there as the Browns strike for 16 and a first down.
Not too shabby for his first carry of the game. That's exactly what most teams are looking for, a really good change of pace back.
On first down, they'll run with Chubb. And a short gain here, down to the 22. Cody Barton there to bring him down.
Well, sometimes you just have to give credit to the defense. Great job there at the point of attack, holding up. They won their battles at the line of scrimmage, left him no space to try and run. A really nice job swarming to the ball.
Njoku pulls this one in. He's got it for a Cleveland touchdown. A great effort there with his second touchdown here in this first half. And the Browns are able to widen their lead here in this first half. Footing always a concern, but the extra point's up and good. And that makes the score 28-0. The Browns kicking team out there now as they'll send this one away. Fields it right around the goal line. And he'll be brought down right on the chalk of the 20. Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense. It hasn't gone particularly well for them. That's obvious. In these conditions, no points so far. They've got to get that offense on track. The question, how do they do it?
It is the age-old question, isn't it? And to me, finding a way to make sure your playmakers touch the ball without it being too exotic. Meaning you don't have to go deep down the field. Maybe you hit them on those short passes on the perimeter. Make sure you just turn around and hand it to your best runner and get out of the way. Don't cause any extra stress on your offense.
And he drops it incomplete, and their struggles continue here. Fair to say, hasn't been his best game throwing the football, but also not getting a lot of help out there either.
Yeah, you nailed it pretty well, you know. He's got to throw it better, got to get more help. Obviously one that should have been caught. They've got to find a way to bring those two elements together so they can make some progress in this one.
Throwing on third down, Smith. And the Browns pressure gets to him that time, and he's going to go down. Calling a loss of 4 there on the sack. And speaking of the number 4, it brings up fourth down now. On fourth down, ready to punt, Michael Dixon. They only punted twice in the win last week as he gets this one away. That's taken at around the 40. It'll be a 39-yard punt, 4 on the return. And the Browns will take over, 1st and 10. The Cleveland offense ready to go. And thus far, the weather has not slowed this offense down one bit. They've looked good so far in the first half.
They certainly have. And think back to our meeting with the head coach. And we asked him because we saw the forecast for this game, didn't we? We said, hey, have you prepared for this? And he talked about the different drills that they've done in adverse conditions, the wet ball drills, things of that nature. He said, I don't think it's going to slow us down much. We tend to handle it pretty well, and he's been right.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Well, they'll run it here on the jet sweep. And just no chance of turning the corner. He can only get back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 coming up.
Let's just make this one succinct. Nice job there. All 11 guys on defense diagnosing the jet sweep and putting it down.
They go with Chubb on 2nd down. And down right around the 32-yard line. 4 yards on the pickup.
This guy's well on his way now to a big game on the ground. It's another good run there. Puts him over the century mark in yardage. And we're still in the 2nd quarter.
And that will be incomplete.
And that's a nice job there because you've got to play the ball, not the man when in coverage. That'll keep you away from a lot of needless penalties, and he's able to knock that one away.
So now the Browns will turn it over to their field goal unit here. This is a 49-yard attempt, right hash. And his kick is good. And that will extend their lead even further. So everything else has gone right in this first half. Kind of follows it would for their kicker, too, as he adds 3 more onto the lead.
Yeah, and the way that this one's gone, Definitely not looking like he's going to have to worry too much about pressure kicks late in the game. He can go out there free and easy, just work on his form, and he knocked that one through.
And they'll be backed up to start this drive as he's taken down right around the 15. Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense. And this not an easy situation. You're down early, in the elements, you're on the road. How do you get the mojo back?
Well, one thing is to remember that as an offensive player, you have a much better idea of what you're trying to accomplish and where you're trying to go than the defender. So in this case, because you know it, you can make your cuts with a little more decisiveness. Maybe a second fake, some double moves, things of that nature to go ahead and try and put some pressure on the defense.
60 Viper, 60 Viper, 19 tight, 19 tight. 60 Bobcat, 60 Bobcat.
On 2nd and 11 now. Smith. Looking left sideline, it's complete. And he takes us beyond the 35 before going out of bounds. That one covers 24 yards. It's a first down.
When you struggle on offense, you're looking for anything possible to get you going. Sometimes you do it like basketball teams that don't normally press. You put a press on, bring people to life, make them move a little bit quicker. Maybe that'll help them as they head towards the half.
A reminder, once we hit halftime, as we do all season, we'll send it down to Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. He'll have all the stats and scores from games in progress around the NFL.
The best multitasker in the business, the coach.
Now Geno on first down. No chance to get away there for Smith as he goes down. Daquan Jones fighting his way home to get the sack. This offense continues to shoot themselves in the foot. And here, another sack.
All game long, we've seen missed assignments, which have led to turnovers, sacks. This group has not played well at all here in the first half.
It's just a gain of a couple there on the scramble, and now it's third down.
They made a nice effort to stick him with a loss for that play, but it's going to take more than that to keep him from advancing the ball. Should be an entertaining battle anytime he tucks and runs over the second half of this contest.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Oh, it's out. Smith lost it. Offensively lucky they're able to keep the football, but now 4th down, so they'll have to boot him away.
I do think, though, they're going to look at this as a positive. One, they recovered the fumble, so they retained possession. But two, being able to punt it changes field position for them. Imagine if that turnover takes place there. Now your defense has to go onto the field and try and hold. Instead, they get a little breathing room.
Here's Michael Dixon now to punt. So the hand got inside the face mask that time. Looked like a pretty easy call.
And it was, and we saw this in their loss last week. Penalties at inopportune times that led to their demise.
Now Chubb running right. Jamal Adams coming up from a safety spot to make the play. So we've reached halftime here in what is quickly turning into quite a rout. As we'll send you down to Orlando, and we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach. Welcome back. Halftime over. We are ready for quarter number 3. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gordon. Forecast calling for more of the same. The rain set to continue as we are underway in the second half. And the half will begin with a touchback.
Let's go now.
Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense. We'll see, Charles, if they had a chance to hit the reset button at halftime. They have not scored. They're facing this big deficit. And if they're going to come back, it's going to have to start right now.
Yeah, and for them, it's not dwelling in the negative because, yes, they were totally ineffective in the first half. But we've seen many games that have flipped around in the second half. It all starts with this drive right here. They get something good going, put some points on the board, they begin to have hope.
Ball on the 30. They'll come up with a 2nd and 5.
Go, Reed, go!
Sticking with Walker on 2nd down. And he'll scratch out only about a yard up to the 32. Well, this defense, they've got the 4-score advantage, and you can see why they continue to bottle up the run game, and really they've just been sharp in all facets here in this one, CD.
Yeah, they've kept that offense in check the entire game, and I think it's been led by what you just talked about, that defensive front, which has not allowed them to run the football and establish control of the line of scrimmage.
And he's taken down. This will be a Brown sack. Tony Field with a big-time sack on 3rd down. It's a loss of 7. Now here's Michael Dixon as he's on to punt for Seattle. So this punt sails out of bounds across midfield. Now the question, they're going to spot it right at the 40, the 40-yard line. The Browns drive about to get started. And it's hard to imagine that the first half could have gone any better for them. So what's the approach here in the second half?
Just continue to play smart football because they got the other team down and they feel good about the position they're in. The obvious thing people would say is just keep attacking, but I think you also have to be smart about it. Avoid turnovers. That's about the only thing that can derail you at this point. Attack, but make sure you take care of the ball.
And a pretty good burst there as he'll get this across midfield and down to the 46. That's good for a Cleveland first down, an 11-yard pickup.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time, and making it work.
They give the Chubb out of the gun. And some space here. 20. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Cleveland.
I know I should keep the focus and the spotlight on the hero that just scored, but tackling's been an issue for this defense all game long. I can't set that aside. We just saw it again here. Missed tackles leads to his long touchdown run.
Extra point safely through, and the lead grows even larger here in the 3rd quarter. And he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense. Well, we're still in the 3rd quarter, so there's some time to kind of clean this up and make it look more respectable now. Or win, that's probably gone out the window, Charles, but I don't know. Do you look at this as a time to just improve and maybe start to look towards the future?
I think you have to find something to play for, something to grasp onto until the clock runs out. But, Brandon, we've been around this game a long time. This is an outlier. You don't get many blowouts like this one.
He's got a man complete. It's a big play there for Seattle, and even 40 yards. Now look, you're not going to be able to get this all back at once, but that certainly helps.
So you're saying 3 yards in the cloud of dust, not the strategy?
I go aerial attack.
Yeah, I think that's what has to happen. And if you're going to run it, you need to break off big.
Nowhere to turn here, and he's going to go down. Back at about the 37-yard line. It's J.O.K. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah in there for the sack. Out of the gun, Walker with it. And his rough afternoon continues. He's going nowhere again. No gain on the play this time, and it'll be a 3rd and long situation coming up. Flag comes in. This might be a free play. Well, into a sea of defenders have intercepted. Picked off by Martin Emerson. And the Seahawks will take over possession here up at the 44. Well, we looked at each other right when he flinched. We knew that that flag was coming.
Yeah, offsides, easy call, mark off the 5, and keep it moving.
And the penalty helps, but not a whole lot. It's still 3rd and long. Throwing now is Geno. Oh, had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going.
I thought that was a completed pass until he came in and forced the ball from his hands. Not only did he make a nice play, he brings up 4th down.
On comes the Seahawk kicker here on 4th down. It's Jason Myers. It'll be a 49-yard attempt from the left hash. And that is no good. And they will remain well behind.
Partner, this is certainly turning out to be one of those days. Here we are in the second half. They're being shut out. Offense is doing nothing. And you're just saying, please, come on, give us something here to your kicker. But even this is no good.
And they're going to stop him right at the line of scrimmage. Just no cutback lane to be found whatsoever. 2nd and 10. 3rd quarter action. Appreciate you joining us from Cleveland, Ohio. 2nd and 10. And again, it's Chubb. He'll get about 3 as he's brought down right around the 42.
Well, that's not a run that's going to make any of the highlight tapes, but they've been moving it well all game on the ground. This is another one that keeps them moving forward.
So 7 yards from the first down here as they come up to the line of scrimmage. Throwing on 3rd down, Watson. Oh, this will be incomplete. The rush gets home just as he was letting that go. That could have been worse. Instead, it's 4th down. The Browns send out their punter now. And the way this offense has moved the ball, he hasn't been needed till here in the 3rd. Returnable for Lockett. It's a return of 4 following a 42-yard punt. And it'll be Seahawk football, 1st and 10. Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense.
Well, the disparity in this game, it just seems to grow with each possession here, Charles. They are really struggling. They have not put up a single point, and on the other side, the points keep piling up and up and up.
So you know the frustration level has to be rising, right? So they've got to find a way to quell that, because otherwise they certainly won't get anything done in this one. Keep diving deeper into the offensive playbook, but bottom line is don't quit competing.
And not much to speak of. Call it a 1-yard gain up to the 15. So they'll get a little extra time to come up with his 3rd down play as we played 3 quarters. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. A 3rd down now. Those last 2 plays indicative of how things have gone for them. Just nowhere to go on the ground and struggling to put up points. A throw there, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
And here's Dixon to punt now as he gets this one away. Let's take it inside his own 40. We'll call that a 43-yard punt, 2 on the return. And that will come the offense as they take over. The Cleveland offense ready to go. They're looking at a 3rd straight win here if they can hold on. They begin this drive with Chubb. And he's got room. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. Boy, 184 yards rushing now for the NFL leader coming into this ball game. So from Seahawk territory now, it's 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line. They run it again with Chubb. And he'll take this ahead for about 4. 2nd down coming up.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where there'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
So from the 17 now, here's a 1st and 10. And Chubb will try the middle here. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12. On this day, the ground has been his, but at least on that individual play, we just saw the defense finally with a win.
Yeah, they finally got one, and that's a win for them, but all game long, he's seen the holes, and they've been huge for him. Kind of like a baseball hitter in the zone. The ball seems bigger, and he's just whacking it. These guys, they've got it going today.
Yeah, he's able to get more than half of what they needed. That brings up a 3rd and 5. They'll need 5 on this play to move the sticks. On 3rd down, it's Knight. And he's able to break out of 1 tackle, but then quickly brought down. Just a yard on the run there, and that's going to bring us to a 4th down. So now the Browns will turn it over to their field goal unit here. From the right hash here, should be an easy one. And his kick here is good. And that will extend their lead even further. Well, ultimately not really sure that they're going to need those 3 points, but they'll take the 3 and they pad that lead.
Yeah, this one's already wrapped up, but you and I both know if you're an offensive coordinator, you never let up on the gas unless the head coach tells you to do so. And maybe you've actually clicked him off in your headset so you can keep calling plays and trying to add to this lead. In this position, trying to get back into the game, teams are looking for a spark from their special teams. That's not what they got, though. They got a setback, and they have a long field to cover if they want to try and put points on the board.
Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense.
Well, it's been a struggle so far for this offense, Charles. It's not only that they haven't been able to put the points up.
He's got a man, complete. And they nearly get this all the way to midfield. Mark him down at the 49. An excellent pickup of 34 yards. The big play has them all the way out near midfield for a 1st and 10. Now Geno. Returning right back to Lockett. And he's going to be taken down at about the 33. So a 1st and 10 upcoming from Browns territory now, down at the 33. And the pressure gets there. He'll go down. It's a sack. And it is going to bring us to the 2-minute warning.
Let's go now.
Another try after the 1st down sack. Smith, and his throw's going to be incomplete.
At this point in the game, they've got to continue to try anything they can. They're still working at it, even though this one feels like a lost cause.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. To throw is Smith. And he finds a man with a crossing route. Now the Seahawks going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll get a chance to talk it over after picking up the 1st down.
Nice game there, partner, but you and I both know that won't do anything for the final score. They're not going to win this one. Right now they're playing for pride and fantasy points.
And just to erase that goose egg, nobody wants to be shut out.
Walker now on 1st and 10. And he works his way forward to pick up 4 yards there on 2nd down.
The run got 4. Now they deal with a 2nd and 6. Play action. It's Smith. And he's going to go down. He's sacked back at the 24. Now a tough spot for Geno Smith and company after the sack. It's 3rd and long. Now here's a look for the end zone, but that one's going to wind up incomplete.
Even with such a big lead late, the effort hasn't lapsed one bit. If the offense wants to score some points in this one, they're going to have to earn it. These guys are not giving up anything.
Hold it ready. 18, right here.
Desperation time for Smith on 4th down. And that's going to be too high, out of bounds and incomplete. They had to go for it with such little time remaining, and this Browns defense stands tall. The Browns drive about to get started. And checking the timeouts, they do have 2 defensively, but no real need to use them as they're not going to be able to stop the clock after that.
And he's going to have a Browns first down as the tackle made at the 35-yard line.
Well, that's a carry they have to be satisfied with. And throughout this game, they've been satisfied with what he's given them. Whenever they've needed a big run, a first down, he's the guy they've turned to. And it doesn't matter what the defense thinks. They feel like they've got the confidence to keep handing it to him and keep picking up good yardage.
Credit the tackle there to Uchenna Nwosu. So Cleveland able to come away with the victory here.